Love for Guam is brought to you by Taco Bell, Live Moss, and Pepsi. That's what I like.
Welcome back to LFG Love for Guam. Great to have you joining me here for this segment.
I wouldn't miss it, and neither would Scully here, and that's because we are checking out an art exhibit that portrays the legend of how the Chamorro woman helped save Guam from being eaten by a giant fish. Wow!
He's a familiar face and this month's Pepsi Pulse feature.
Let's head to the mainland to hear from artist Roquin-Jon Siongco.
So in Tacoma, Washington, I am part of an exhibit called Soft Power. It's an amazing exhibit with about a dozen or so other artists, and it's all looking at fabric art, fiber art, textiles, in greater senses of like political activism. Here in Tacoma, Washington, we actually have a pretty big Pacifica, but even specifically a big Chamorro population. There's a lot of people out here in Tacoma, Bremerton, all along the West Coast really, but yeah, these are spots for sure. And so I definitely wanted to bring my culture and my perspective with it. And so some of the photos that we see here, we see a photo of a number of women putting coconut oil in their hair. We see another woman who happens to actually be my great-grandmother, my mom's dad's mother. And she held land in the Texas way back in the day. And I remember going to these beaches with her and learning all about like the jungle, about the ocean, you know, about spirituality and everything. And so a lot of things were coming up for me. And one of the major arching images that I wanted to portray was about how the women saved Guam. Remember, our legend recalls a time where land was being eaten up by a giant fish, and you know, the men of the village, strong and mighty as they weren't able to catch it until our women had actually cut their hair and wove a giant net with it. And working together as a collective, that's what they accomplished, is capturing the fish. And so I wanted to portray that, and you know, all the nuances. Being born and raised in Jigo up until I was in my early teens, I remember picking up weaving from my Chamorro teacher actually. I remember in the 3rd grade, she taught me how to weave a little grasshopper, and from then on, kind of just kicked off from there. But I actually had relocated to Washington State to finish off high school and to finish off college. But I went back and forth for summers, holidays, and the years following. And so I always was kind of this like half homeland, half diaspora. But definitely like my heart beats for Guam and the Marianas. But yeah, it's been interesting connecting with people in both these spaces where, you know, all of a sudden divisions about, you know, what we're trying to learn about ourselves, about our culture, those divisions go away because I think everyone is trying to deepen their understanding about themselves and about their community. And so it's been amazing that I've been able to help people like kind of be as a stepping stone and filling in those gaps, or just teaching them a little bit about weaving and talking about my experience. And it's something that I hope that I get the chance to continue to share and also amplify the other voices that are being with me. Pretty good. I had a very quiet opening. It's only been open for the past few days now, but it actually stay open all the way until September 1st, 2024. So everyone, you got time. I have the tremendous blessing to also actually have a few different things upcoming. I'll mention it briefly here. I know you mentioned talking about it later, but actually also just in Seattle, so north of Tacoma, there is an exhibit that I happen to have the fortune of being a part of, and that's the Gumagela exhibit, Part Land, Part Sea, All Ancestry. And that's going to be open all the way until June next year as well. So hopefully you got time in your Washington tour to see both. And actually upcoming, I'll be coming back home to Wuhan in just a few weeks. And then I'll be taking off to New Zealand, and we're also going to be showcasing at the Pacific Fusion Fashion Show in Auckland on December 1st. So look out for that.
Such a beautiful way to share the culture of the Chamorro people.
Yes, and perpetuating it from thousands of miles away. Great job, Roquin. And don't go anywhere. We wrap up the show with That Will Help You Sing. Cheerio!
Love for Guam is brought to you by Taco Bell, Live Moss, and Pepsi. That's what I like.